think the popping sound is the reed valve not working right. It's letting gas out of the exhaust manifold when it should be the other way. It should be drawing air through the air filter into the exhaust. So I think that's what's causing it. As you can see, when you block it off, the engine tone returns to normal. I've just got a spark plug stuck in the end there to block it off to test. So it's a bit of a worry. So anyway, the second thing I went on to check was the warm air valve. So what happens, this valve here opens up once the engine's warmed up. So the point of that is to route warm air from the exhaust into the engine to reduce emissions. Once the engine's warmed up, it can open up then and draw cold air from outside. So it doesn't seem to be working. That may just be that engine's not up to operating temperature. So you can see there I moved the vacuum and the spring pushed it open. So the spring, the vacuum causes the spring to pull up the vacuum diaphragm to pull up and close the valve, thereby routing warm air instead of cold air. Then presumably that vacuum turns that switch off once it's warmed up. So I'll have to check that out. Might be because of operating temperature, which I'll show you in a minute on the screen. It says there it's not much above cold. So anyway, this is what the engine sounds like with it not plugged in, with the reed valve locked off. When you give it a bit of a rev, it sounds pretty bad. It does sound like an exhaust leak. Okay, and this is what it sounds like when it's sealed up. It sounds fine, sounds normal. The car's not accelerating very well, so when it gets to about 2000 RPM while driving on the road, it can rev higher than that, not under load, but under load it dies over 2000 RPM. We just can't get over 2000 RPM. So something's not right there, and it could be vacuum issue, very possibly vacuum issue, or I suspect it's probably that reed valve, but I haven't had a chance to drive it yet to test that out. So anyway, this was just a first exploratory investigation into some of that vacuum and emissions gear, which I know can sometimes cause troubles. And I don't know, to what extent I'm allowed legally to bypass any of that stuff in order to get a roadworthy certificate, or whether I'm going to have to actually go and find working components. If, like for example, if that reed's damaged, I have to buy a new one. They might be a little bit expensive, so we'll just have to check that all out. And so the two tests I need to do when I get it on the road again is whether it revs higher than 2000 RPM with the reed valve blocked off, and whether once it's up to operating temperature, whether that valve opens, the warm cold feed valve. So that'll be the next video probably.